All right, today, you guys, we are going to be talking about markup and discount. Now, markup and discount basically are elements of the proportionality parts of our units that are going to be very relevant to the real world situation. So you're going to see a lot of examples that do deal with real world situations. Now, as you see there on the screen, we're going to be asking ourselves, how much actually are we going to pay? Now, if you notice, markup is going to be the amount that a price can be increased. So the example that we have here is that a markup rate is 20%. Now, the store's cost is going to be $45. So just a little background information. Stores do not pay for their goods from their manufacturers the amount that they actually charge in the store. Typically, they have to mark up or add a certain percentage to those amounts to make sure that they're actually making a profit. So, and as you see, they will mark up the cost to sell to the public. So let's go ahead and look at how we would find 20% of 45. Now, the way that we would actually do that is simply by setting up what I like to call a percent box. So if you notice there, we have the percent sign above the right-hand column. We then have the number 100 because we're going to figure out of 100, what percentage we're actually looking for. So according to this particular example, we are going to go ahead and set up our percent box where we have the original cost, which is the $45, which needs to be marked up by 20%. Again, 20 out of 100. So again, right here in the middle might as well be an equal sign because in essence, this is simply a proportion that we're setting up in box form. Now, as we notice here, the X value is going to be our unknown amount that we are marking $45 up. Okay? So the steps in order to take care of this will be where we would put the same units together, meaning your part over your whole in that particular box. So let me go back here. So we have our part over our whole. Okay, what part of $45 does 20% actually represent? Okay, so we're trying to figure out that particular number. So if I go back here, I'm going to set it up where I'm going to cross multiply 100 and X. Again, if we look at it, we are cross multiplying our X and our 100, sorry. We're then going to cross multiply these two numbers and set them as equal to each other. We know that if I multiply 45 and 20, that's going to be 900, which is going to equal to X. So my markup amount is going to be $9. Okay. Now, when I say markup, at that point, what do I have to do? I have to come up with my selling price. My selling price, again, is going to be the store's cost plus the markup is going to be that selling price. So in the example, $45 plus the 20% that we figured out, the selling price is going to be $54. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the opposite operation. The opposite to that, of course, is going to be markdown. Now, this has a special relevance, especially when you are thinking about shopping in a store. More likely than often, this is the most common way that I would come into contact with the concept of markdown or a discount. Okay. Now, again, the discount is going to be the amount that the price is actually decreased. So that example says that the original cost of a shirt is $32. The store is having a 25% off sale. Now, don't worry about the stores. They're not going to not make a profit. So based on the amount that they're actually paying for the goods that are in their store, they're still going to be able to make a profit, most times even off of drastic or deep discounts. Okay, so what is the new cost of the shirt? So we need to find what 25% off of 32 is. So I'm going to use the exact same kind of box from before where I'm going to set up my proportion correctly. The amount discounted, as you see here, is going to be set up as 25% of a whole 100%. And I need to figure out the amount that is being discounted out of the whole of 32. So I'm going to do the exact same thing where I'm going to cross multiply 100 and X. I'm going to cross multiply 32 and 25, which is going to lead me to this particular information. So I'm seeing at this point that When I multiply 32 and 25, that gives me 800. I'm going to set that as equal to 100 times x, which will give me an x value of 8. So my discount is going to represent $8. Now, in the last example, we added for the markup. Now, what are we going to do for the discount? You're absolutely correct. We're going to now take the original price minus the discount, and that will give us our new selling price. Now, the new selling price, when I take that discount, is going to be $24. Okay, so let's go ahead and do 2 practice problems, and I'm going to switch over to my writing. So at this point, we have, let's see, our box here. I'm going to set this up with my markup and my discount. I'm going to give you a moment to get out a sheet of paper, and then we're going to resume. So now that you have your piece of paper, we're going to start. Okay, and we're going to give you 2 different real-world examples. So we're going to say that Macy's, one of my favorites, purchases a shirt from a manufacturer for $20. Now, in order to sell that shirt in their store, they're going to need to mark the shirt up just a bit so that they can actually still make a profit. Because remember, in business, they still have to make a profit to pay their employees, to pay their utilities, to pay their rent, to pay for all the shipping that they need of the items to come to their store, etc. There's a lot of different things that they have to build into that cost. So they're going to say, in order to be able to do all of the things that we need to do as a business, we are going to mark up the shirt by 35%, okay? And maybe they do that with all of the items in their store just so they can make a profit. Maybe that is the median or the average markup that they need to do in order to satisfy all of the things that they need to do, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my percent box. Okay, and again, this is like a proportion. So in this instance, this might as well be the equal sign, okay? So I know that I'm going to set up a percent sign over here. I need to, that's a little bit better, sorry. Okay, I'm going to set this up as 35% out of 100. I'm always going to put this as my X value, that is my unknown amount. Okay, and then I know that the original cost of my shirt was $20. Okay, so I'm going to put that as original amount, and I'm going to put this as my markup amount. In parentheses, I'm going to put my percentage because, again, we have a part over our whole. Okay, so what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to cross multiply as the directions said. So I want to cross multiply. This becomes 100x. Through the magic of YouTube, I already figured these out. 35 times 20 is going to give me 700. Now I need to solve for x to tell me what the amount, the actual dollar amount of my markup is going to be. Okay, when I do that, solving for x, I'm going to divide each side by 100 because this is a simple equation. Once I do that, again, crossing through these, this becomes 1x or just x. I'm going to do the exact same thing here. It makes it super easy for us to quote unquote divide. X is going to be $7. So my markup is $7. Okay, so that's the amount that they built into the amount of that shirt. Now remember, their cost was $20 that they purchased that item from their manufacturer. Now in order to put it in their store to make the profit, what I need to do is I need to add $20 plus $7, which is going to give me my selling price. And this is with markup. Okay. Now I'm going to use Macy's as another example, and we're going to talk about discount or markdown. Okay. So markdown, aka discount. Okay, I'm going to put it here. All right. So at this point, at the end of the season, like around my birthday in January, doesn't seem quite like the end of the season, but I know that because again, I like to get a good bargain. I know that they mark down the most of their winter coats in January. So a coat that was $75, okay, and we want to now have a discount of 60% off a coat purchase. Okay. Now, you can get discounts just that hefty, okay, but we're going to do the exact same thing that we did in the first example, where I'm going to set up my percent box. Again, the percent box is set up where your percent is going to be on the right, okay. I want to represent 60%. Okay, 60 out of 100 or 60%. Remember, this might as well be an equal sign. This might as well be a proportion. Okay, and I want to set this up as my unknown amount that actually is the dollar equivalent of that 60% off. And then my original cost for my coat was $75. Okay, so let's go ahead and set up our equation again. After cross multiplying, I know that 100x is equal to 4,500. Okay, because when I cross multiplied these, they came out to be 450. Add a 0, it's going to be 4,500. Dividing each side by 100, using what I know about numbers that end in zeros and dividing them, that's 1, 2, crossing those out to simplify. X is going to be equal to 45, okay? So in this case, I'm going to have a discount of $45 off the cost of the coat. Now, when I walk in the door, okay, I'm looking for a coat that is marked down. They'd say on the rack that it's 60% off. Now, how much am I actually going to pay? How much am I actually going to pay? So let's take a look at that cost. So Markdown is going to be the original amount, that's $75, minus my discount amount or my markdown amount of $45. So what does that equal actually? It's going to equal $30. Okay, so $30 is going to be my selling price. I'll put in here with discount. All right, so that is it for this particular video. So this is a topic that can be a little bit difficult to grasp, but once you grasp it, it's going to be super easy for you, I know. If you have a question, please rewind this video, watch it one more time, look for an explanation that you didn't hear the first time. If not, and that doesn't work, come to tutorials with a very specific question for me, or just ask me in class. And as always, I will see you tomorrow.